In 1939, the peaceful village of Carriveau in France was a haven of tranquility. Nestled among lush fields and forests, its cobblestone streets and charming houses seemed untouched by the troubles of the world. Vianne Mauriac lived in one such house, a cozy home filled with warmth and love. Her husband, Antoine, was her anchor, and their daughter, Sophie, the light of their lives. Antoine, like many other men, was called to serve at the front as war loomed over Europe. On a warm autumn morning, Vianne stood at the garden gate, her heart heavy with worry as she watched Antoine leave. He kissed her and Sophie goodbye, his eyes filled with a mix of resolve and sorrow. Vianne clung to the hope that the war would not reach them, that their village would remain untouched by the chaos sweeping across Europe. But the hope was short-lived. The Nazis invaded France with a force that shattered any illusions of safety. The once peaceful skies were now filled with the roar of planes, and the ground trembled under the relentless advance of tanks and soldiers. Vianne's world was turned upside down as the reality of occupation settled over Carriveau like a dark cloud. One fateful day, a German captain named Wolfgang Beck knocked on Vianne's door. He was polite but firm, informing her that her home was now requisitioned for the German army. Vianne had no choice but to comply. Captain Beck moved in, and Vianne and Sophie had to share their home with the enemy. The presence of the German officer in their house was a constant reminder of the war that had engulfed their lives. Food became scarce, and money even scarcer. Vianne had to find ways to provide for Sophie while navigating the dangerous new reality of living with a German officer. She kept her head down, trying to avoid trouble, but every day brought new challenges and difficult choices. Vianne's younger sister, Isabelle, was 18 and full of fiery passion. She had always been the rebellious one, seeking adventure and purpose. When the Nazis marched into Paris, Isabelle was there, witnessing the horror and chaos. She was determined not to sit idly by. In the midst of the turmoil, she met Gaëtan, a young partisan with a burning desire to fight the Nazis from within France. Isabelle fell deeply in love with Gaëtan, captivated by his courage and his belief in the resistance. But her heart was soon broken when Gaëtan, fearing for her safety, left her behind. Betrayed and heartbroken, Isabelle channeled her pain into action. She joined the French resistance, taking on the code name the Nightingale. Isabelle threw herself into her new role with reckless abandon. She helped smuggle downed Allied airmen out of France, risking her life on dangerous missions. She forged documents, gathered intelligence, and carried out acts of sabotage. Each mission brought new dangers, but Isabelle's resolve never wavered. She was determined to fight for her country's freedom, no matter the cost. Back in Carriveau, Vianne's life was a constant struggle. She did everything she could to keep Sophie safe and their home intact. Captain Beck, though stern, was not cruel, and there were moments of uneasy truce between them. But Vianne knew that one wrong move could bring disaster upon her and her daughter. One winter, the shortages became unbearable. The villagers were starving, and Vianne had to make impossible choices to keep Sophie fed. She started working with a local school, using the meager supplies to prepare meals for the children. She also began helping her Jewish neighbor, Rachel, by hiding food for her and her young son, Ari. The risks were immense, but Vianne could not turn away from those in need. As the war dragged on, the dangers escalated. The resistance activities increased, and the German reprisals were brutal. Vianne and Isabelle, though on different paths, both faced unimaginable hardships. Isabelle's work with the resistance brought her close to capture many times, but she managed to stay one step ahead of the Nazis, her courage growing with each passing day. In the spring of 1943, tragedy struck Carriveau. Rachel and Ari were rounded up by the Germans, along with other Jews in the village. Vianne's heart broke as she watched her friend taken away. She knew that helping Rachel had put her own life at risk, but she could not bring herself to regret her actions. The price of courage was steep, but Vianne's compassion and determination to do what was right never faltered. Isabelle, meanwhile, faced her own trials. The Gestapo was closing in on the resistance networks, and the danger to her and her comrades was greater than ever. In a daring mission, Isabelle helped rescue a group of British pilots, but the operation nearly cost her life. She was captured and brutally interrogated, but managed to escape with the help of fellow resistance members. Isabelle's near capture made her even more determined to continue the fight. She took on more dangerous missions, her reputation as the Nightingale growing among the Allies and the French resistance. She knew that each day could be her last, but her love for her country and her desire for freedom drove her forward. As the war drew to a close, the toll on Vianne and Isabelle was immense. Vianne's health deteriorated from the constant stress and hardship. The liberation of France brought relief, but also the painful memories of those lost and the scars of occupation. Captain Beck was killed during a skirmish with the resistance, leaving Vianne and Sophie to finally reclaim their home. Isabelle's role in the resistance was finally recognized, but the cost of her bravery was high. She had lost many friends and comrades, and the emotional and physical toll of her actions left her deeply scarred. Yet, through it all, she remained resilient, her spirit unbroken. Reunited after the war, Vianne and Isabelle found solace in each other. They had both changed, their experiences shaping them in profound ways. Vianne, once fearful and cautious, had become a pillar of strength for her daughter and her community. Isabelle, once reckless and impulsive, had become a symbol of hope and defiance. The years after the war were a time of rebuilding and healing. Vianne reopened the school in Carriveau, dedicating herself to educating the next generation and ensuring that the horrors of the war were never forgotten. She taught Sophie about courage, compassion, and the importance of standing up for what is right. Isabelle continued to work with the remnants of the resistance, helping to track down war criminals and rebuild France. Her bravery and actions during the war were celebrated, but she remained humble, always remembering those who had sacrificed everything. The bond between the sisters grew stronger as they shared their stories and supported each other through the difficult process of healing. They honored the memories of those they had lost and found ways to move forward, knowing that their courage and resilience had made a difference. Vianne and Isabelle's story is a testament to the strength of the human spirit and the power of love and resilience. They faced unimaginable challenges and made incredible sacrifices, each in their own way contributing to the fight against tyranny and oppression. Their story is a reminder that even in the darkest times, there is hope and the potential for heroism. The Nightingale captures the epic panorama of World War II while shining a light on the often overlooked contributions of women. Vianne and Isabelle's journey is one of survival, love, and the unbreakable bond of family. It celebrates the resilience of the human spirit and the extraordinary durability of women in the face of unimaginable adversity. As time passed, Vianne and Isabelle's story became a legacy for future generations. They had shown that courage and compassion could prevail even in the darkest of times. Their tale is a timeless reminder of the enduring human spirit and the power of standing up for what is right. Their lives, marked by bravery and sacrifice, continue to inspire and teach the lessons of history. Vianne and Isabelle, the Nightingale and her sister, are remembered as symbols of hope, resilience, and the unyielding strength of women in the face of war. Their story, the Nightingale, is not just a tale of war, but a celebration of the human spirit's capacity to endure, to fight for freedom, and to find light even in the darkest of times. It is a novel for everyone, A story that will resonate for a lifetime.